The bus shuddered, spitting me out onto the curb like a discarded cigarette. A brutal October wind clawed at my face, mirroring the unease festering in my gut. School had ended early. Another burst pipe, another excuse to flee the stifling air of adolescence. But as I walked towards my house, an unsettling premonition gnawed at me, a sensation far colder than the autumn air. Yesterday had been wrong. My parents, Elias and Meredith, had been locked away in their bedroom, shrouded in an unsettling silence. No arguments, no laughter, just a heavy, suffocating stillness emanating from behind that closed door. They claimed to be ill, but their vacant eyes and the rigid set of their jaws suggested something far more sinister. I forced a smile as I climbed the porch steps, a pathetic attempt to ward off the growing dread. The front door creaked open, revealing a house steeped in an unnerving quiet. The living room, usually a cacophony of daytime television and Elias's booming laughter, was a mausoleum. The TV was dark, the air thick with the stale scent of neglect. Elias? Meredith? My voice echoed, thin and weak, against the oppressive silence. They were supposed to be here. Elias had taken the day off, a long-promised family trip to the cinema. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the tomb of my home. I dropped my backpack with a thud, the sound amplified in the stillness. The kitchen offered no solace. The calendar confirmed it. October 5th, movie day. Where were they? Then it hit me. Early dismissal. The clock on the microwave glared accusingly, 12:17 p.m. They could still be asleep. Hope, fragile and desperate, flickered in my chest. I crept down the hallway, each step a betrayal of the silence. The door to their bedroom loomed before me. A portal to the unknown. I reached for the knob, my hand trembling. A wave of nausea washed over me, a primal instinct screaming at me to turn back. I pushed the door open. The room was dim, the heavy curtains drawn tight against the daylight. The air was thick with the stench of decay, a cloying sweetness that made my stomach churn. And there they were. Elias and Meredith, lying side by side in their bed, figures frozen in a macabre tableau. A strangled gasp escaped my lips. I forced myself to move, propelled by a morbid curiosity and a desperate need to understand. I stumbled to Meredith's side of the bed, my hand reaching out to pull back the covers. The heavy fabric felt clammy and cold against my skin. What lay beneath the covers stole the air from my lungs. Meredith's eyes were wide open, fixed on some unseen horror beyond the ceiling. Her mouth was agape in a silent scream. The skin stretched taut across her face, revealing the sharp angles of bone beneath. Her complexion was a sickly gray, mottled with patches of purple. Her hair, once thick and vibrant, was now thin and brittle, clinging to her scalp like cobwebs. A bowl of congealed soup sat on the bedside table, a testament to their supposed illness. A thick layer of mold crawled across its surface, an unsettling mirror of the decay consuming Meredith. The smell was overpowering, a sickening mix of rot and sour milk. But it was her hands that truly broke me. They were clasped tightly together, resting on her chest. But they were not her hands. They were gnarled and twisted, the skin peeling away in strips, revealing the raw, bloodied muscle beneath. And embedded within the decaying flesh, glinting in the dim light, were rows upon rows of glistening, pearly white teeth. I recoiled, stumbling backward, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle a scream. My eyes darted to Elias, dread coiling in my stomach like a viper. It was even worse. His eyes were gone, replaced by empty, blood-filled sockets. His skin was stretched so tight that his teeth were visible beneath, a horrifying, grinning mask. His body was bloated, distended, as if filled with some unholy gas. And emanating from him was a low, guttural hum, a sound that vibrated deep within my bones, a sound that promised unimaginable pain. But the most disturbing thing was the garden hose snaking from his mouth, disappearing into his gut. The other end was connected to the sink faucet, the tap running at full blast. My mind struggled to process what I was seeing. This wasn't illness, this was something else. Something monstrous. I slammed the bedroom door shut, the sound echoing through the silent house. I backed away, my body trembling uncontrollably. I had to get out, I had to run. But then I remembered my psychology assignment, a paper on denial. The irony hit me with the force of a physical blow. I am, after all, their child. Maybe it's hereditary. I peered back into the room, the door ajar just enough to see their still forms. Perhaps they were just really sick. Maybe I'm overreacting. Meredith just needs a new face mask. Elias maybe needs a colostomy. I shook my head, trying to clear the fog that was settling over my mind. I couldn't leave them like this. They needed me. I retrieved the bowl of soup, the stench almost unbearable. Carefully, I approached Meredith, spoon in hand. "Come on, Mom," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Just a little bit. It'll make you feel better." Her jaw was locked tight, but I persisted, forcing the spoon between her teeth. The congealed liquid oozed down her chin, staining the rotting flesh. "That's it, and so, that's it," I cooed. "Good girl." Then I turned my attention to Elias. I tried to pull the hose from his mouth, but it was wedged tight. The low hum emanating from his body intensified, a warning growl. "Okay, Dad," I said, my voice shaking. "I'll leave it, but you need to drink some water. You're dehydrated." I grabbed a glass from the bathroom and filled it with tap water. I held it to his lips, tipping it gently. The water spilled over his chin, running into the empty sockets where his eyes used to be. "That's it," I said, forcing a smile. "Good job." I spent the next few hours caring for my parents, cleaning their bodies, trying to feed them, talking to them as if they were still alive. With each passing minute, the fog in my mind grew thicker, the line between reality and delusion blurring. I ignored the screams in my head, the primal urge to flee. I ignored the stench of decay, the sight of rotting flesh. I ignored the growing realization that what I was doing was insane. Because I couldn't face the truth, I couldn't accept the horror that had taken hold of my parents. I couldn't bear the thought of being alone. As the sun began to set, casting long, ominous shadows across the room, I crawled into bed beside my parents, wrapping my arms around their decaying bodies. "It's okay," I whispered, my voice hoarse. "Everything's going to be okay." And as I drifted off to sleep, lulled by the hum emanating from Elias and the stench of rotting flesh, I knew that I was lost. Lost in a world of denial, a world of my own making. I just wonder what to do to celebrate movie day now that it's here.